The next GeoGuessr tips and tricks video in the series is over the country of Iceland. Now, Iceland is a pretty recognizable country, though I feel like region guessing it is the hard part, because I feel like nobody really knows how to region guess it too easily. So, here's the guide, and let's just get into it. Okay, so instantly you can already tell it's Iceland based off of several things. For one, the landscape. So Iceland is very north, as you could see. It's higher than most of the Russian population in terms of actual, like longitude or whatever. So a lot of Iceland, you'll see either this very sparse grass, which you won't see that all too much, but usually, at least near like the coast, you'll see maybe some fjords. You'll see the classic, just like mossy mountain hills that you see in like Scotland and Norway, even the Faroe Islands. You won't see any trees in Iceland. That's a good way. The only vegetation you'll see in Iceland is like grass, moss, maybe some small bushes, but you'll never see any trees. Maybe inside of a city, but then the mountains, they'll just be there. They'll be, of course, green, like mossy cover, very snow covered, rocky, whatever. Now, Iceland, you also only ever see white road lines, which that marks off Norway as a possibility. We know we're right-hand driving by this truck, so we know it's not the UK, and those are the only options. So on to car meta. There's actually a decent bit of car meta in Iceland, unfortunately. For one, you have the Gen 4 and the Gen 3 cars. So as you can see here, we have a pickup truck. It is blurred, but if you don't know how to tell if there's a blurred pickup truck, you should probably learn that. I can give a small tutorial here. So if you see the road under you is pretty blurry, just look to the side and you'll see that it is a big blur, and then it gets higher on like the right side since you're right-hand driving. It's the shape of a truck. So yeah, it's just a symbol. We have the Gen 4 Google truck, which most of the time is blurred, sometimes it's not. Now it can have two colors. It can be a white pickup truck or a red pickup truck. If it's red, you're going to be in the southwestern part near Reykjavik, and if it's white, you'll be pretty much anywhere else. Well, the red is like just like from here to here pretty much, and everything west of that. Well, the white is the rest of the country. And the Gen 3 car, you'll see everywhere in Iceland. It's not region specific, though I will get to that when the location comes. So as we can see, we see a slightly white blur, so we're going to be in the part of the country that's not directly there. And it's not super fjordy or mountainous. We're probably not going to be near the coast. It's not super barren, so we're not going to be in like the middle, so that really only leaves this area up here that we could be. Okay. And then here, it's a very similar location. We see the red car, though. But it is kind of vegetated. It is, well, not vegetated. I'd say more agricultural, just slightly. It is still more like volcanic. It is, yeah, volcanic is actually a really good phrase to use here. It's much more volcanic, but there is still a little more agricultural. So since we see the red car, we're gonna be around here. We're not near any big mountains, maybe some hills to like the east and such, but specifically not this area, because this area is 100% volcanic pretty much, and not very agricultural. But this part directly to the east of that, I would say, is more agricultural than the purely volcanic part. But if it's a volcanic Iceland, well, that's the whole country, but like the soil's super volcanic, more noticeable than ever. You're probably gonna be in this like southern area around here. Okay, and then here's one I just put on here because it's just a very identifiable road. So first of all, if you're placed here, you see the yellow bollards. I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you see these yellow bollards, you're 100% of the time in Iceland. Peru can use the yellow bollard, but it's not the full bollard, and if you're mixing up Iceland and Peru, then that's kind of on you. But for this particular road, we always have water directly south. It's very flat, and then it's just big mountain range to the north. This is this road to the very south of Iceland, going from all the way down here, pretty much all the way over here. You actually get this road a decent bit of the time. So since we're just starting the mountains, we're probably going to be like around here or like here or so. I think there's a lake right there. Yeah. Again, here we are in a city. So for one, we see that we have the... I actually can't tell what car this is, but it doesn't matter. So I will explain the more city type things in a different round, but this particular one, we're in a big city. Now, big cities in Iceland you don't see very often. You have Reykjavik, the capital, of course. You have Akureyri, which is the second biggest. You have Selfoss, which I think is the third biggest. Third or fourth. I think there's a city over here that's pretty big as well. This one, maybe? I don't know what the third biggest. I think it's Selfoss. And so, yeah, if you're in a... We can just easily tell we're in a pretty bustling city. So, I mean Reykjavik or Akureyri. Now, I'm pretty sure Reykjavik, actually, parts of it do use the white truck. But if you just look in Reykjavik, you'll have northern coast. You'll have like western coast, maybe some eastern coast. Whereas this city over here, you have just a north and like a kind of east. We see a direct north coast, but the biggest thing is that we have mountains directly west and directly east. We see big mountains directly east, and we see big mountains directly west. So that means we are pretty much 100% in Akureyri. So I just click on a road that's kind of like around here or so. Which one's turning good? Not this one, but kind of like this. Yeah. Okay, so for this one, we do see pretty big mountains. We're kind of in a flat part that just has like some mountains just scattered about. It's very vegetated. Not as agricultural, because, I mean, we don't really see much. It is kind of. But when you see like a lot of these big snow-capped mountains, we do see might be a coast, but when you see these big mountains and you're not like directly on a coast, that means you're probably not going to be this northwest or this like eastern part, at least in terms of the big like small mountains. This area kind of similar, so that kind of just leaves this area, because this area is not directly on the coast. And we're having like a northwest road, so that would line up kind of perfectly with that. And if there's coast right there, then yeah, that's probably just the road actually. But yeah, if it's over here, it'll look more like the Faroe Islands. And if it's over here, it'll also look more like the Faroe Islands, which is just, yeah, pure island, fjord, mountains, and a lot of ocean. And I did actually, well, I actually clicked the wrong one, but I did get the road. And then, once again, we are in a pretty vegetated place. I'd say it's relatively agricultural, but it's very vegetated and flat. Though we do see it big snow-capped mountain ranges to the north and the south. Well, I guess you'd say northwest and southeast. Which is very interesting. Doesn't really feel like Faroe Islands, probably not any of these parts. I don't think... this area would all be more mountainous if it was this, rather than just far away mountains. Since it is pretty vegetated, it's not gonna be in the direct center, so that doesn't leave very much. We have the white car too, so we're not gonna be down here. It really only leaves this part over here, because honestly, even if you didn't know this, you see a big northwest mountain range and a big southeast mountain range, and you scan big northwest mountain range, big southeast mountain range. It just lines up. So really the big takeaway from learning Iceland and GeoGuessr is just line up the mountains and line up the road angle. That'll get you so far into Iceland region guessing. Okay, and here we are in what looks to be just a normal European town. Well, like a Swedish town or something. For one, the road crossing sign, we see 4, like you see in Norway and Sweden, but it's yellow instead of white. This yellow one you only see in Iceland, obviously. And then we have like the usually Nordic thing, the yellow sign with the red outline. You usually see that in the Nordics as well, like Polish and such. I can show the language off in a different one. We see red car, probably gonna be in Reykjavik, though, a very big city for Iceland standards. You're pretty much only gonna be in Reykjavik. Like if we don't see mountains in a big city, you're probably in Reykjavik. Iceland is fairly obvious. Okay, and then here we are in a Iceland round that looks very much like the Faroe Islands. Pretty much the whole round is just fjords. Of course, you got this like grass. You got the like mossy, grassy mountains that you see all in like the North Sea. We have water going directly through everything, but we have the yellow bollards, so we know it's Iceland. You really see this type of environment in the northwest and this eastern part. I'd say the best way to differentiate the two is that the part in the northwest, the mountains are more flat at the top, and over here they're more of like peaks. Now, which one will we classify this as? I think I'd classify this more as flat tops, but this is probably the hardest 50-50 in Iceland, at least for me, because sometimes you just get flat tops in this east, or you get peaks in the northwest. But I think it's usually gonna be like this. But then even if so, you could just try to line up a road, like we see coast to the east, like that, which is kind of weird. This part, so maybe it would be over here. It does honestly line up better over here, so I think I'll just go for it. Yeah. So the mountains weren't like perfectly flat like the Sutu Mountains. They did have some peaks on them, but if I didn't try to line up the road or like the ocean, I probably would have went the northwest. Okay, and then here is a big round. So for one, we can see a little bit of the language, I guess. The language, you don't really need to know Icelandic. You really don't. Just think of it as just another Nordic language. Think of it as like a Danish and Norwegian combined. You see that typical AE connected letter you see in those languages. We have these yellow signs, first of all. And yeah, now onto the road numbering system. So all the roads are numbered in specific parts of Iceland. We see a 1. The 1s you see around the whole country. But then 2 to 9 you see in particular regions. If you start from the southern part, this is where 2 is. As you could see, we see like 209 and 26. You go west to 30, then 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So just from the 6 on a clock all the way to the 5 going clockwise. That's pretty much how the road numbering system works. So if we see a 26, we're going to be in this region. And I see the 26 right here, actually. The 26 goes pretty far. Now, when the Iceland is this desolate and this devoid of vegetation, you're going to be near the center of the country. So realistically, we're probably going to be around here. It was even further, but yeah. This is also just showing how it's just very cold, absolutely devoid of vegetation. This is, I think, is going to be one of the roads up here, actually. Like this one or something. Yeah. Okay, here's actually I'd say a better example. So, I guess this one feels less like the Faroe Islands, more like a northern Scotland and Norway. The mountains aren't as severe, but it's very flat topped. As you can see, there's really no peaks, so this is what this more northwest part looks like. But the road's also unpaved. I guess that could help. I never even thought about that, actually. So if we try to line up a road over here, look, this is decent. No, it'd be like the other side. It was just down there, but yeah. And here's the last thing, which I wanted to show you a long time ago, but I'm doing these in a random order. The Gen 3 car. This used to be the easiest way to figure out Iceland, because you have a white car with a long antenna, which was all of Iceland's coverage. Now, you can see this car combination in like some parts of Russia, like the far east. You see something similar, maybe in like Sweden and such. But the white car long antenna with this landscape, 100% of the time would be Iceland. You don't see this coverage all the time now, well, this car, but you can still see it. Alright, and that was a very in-depth guide over guessing Iceland and GeoGuessr. I hope y'all stay tuned for the next GeoGuessr tips and tricks country.